The book of Deuteronomy begins a new chapter for Israel, but before they move forward, Moses helps them look back. Deuteronomy means second law, not a new law, but a renewed reminder. These chapters contain Moses' farewell speeches, calling the people to remember, obey, and love the Lord. The Lord our God said to us at Horeb, "You have stayed long enough at this mountain." Deuteronomy 1:6. Moses begins by recounting the past 40 years, from Mount Sinai to the edge of the Promised Land. He reminds them how leaders were appointed to help judge, spies were sent into Canaan. Numbers 13. The people rebelled, refusing to enter the land. As a result, they wandered until the first generation died, but Joshua shall go in. Encourage him. Deuteronomy 1:38. Before we walk into God's promises, we must remember where we failed, and where God remained faithful. You have been traveling around this mountain country long enough. Turn northward. Deuteronomy 2:3. God tells Israel to move forward. Moses recounts how they passed peacefully by Edom, Moab, and Ammon, were forbidden to take land from those relatives, defeated King Sihon of Heshbon when God gave them the command, "I have begun to give Sihon and his land over to you." Deuteronomy 2:31. God controls both timing and territory. When he says go, he's already prepared the way. So the Lord our God also gave into our hand Og, the king of Bashan. Deuteronomy 3:3. Moses reminds them of another victory, the defeat of Og, king of Bashan. Israel takes possession of lands east of the Jordan, for Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh, but only after those tribes promise to help conquer the west. Moses also pleads with God to let him enter the promised land, but God says no. "Do not speak to me of this matter again." Deuteronomy 3:26. Instead, God tells Moses to commission Joshua as the new leader. Even Moses had limits, but God's plan goes on. True leadership prepares others to finish what we start. Only take care, and keep your soul diligently. Deuteronomy 4:9. This chapter is Moses' heart cry, a warning to obey God's laws, not to forget, and not to worship idols. He reminds them that they heard God's voice at Mount Sinai. They saw no form, just fire and words. God alone is worthy of worship, there is no other besides him. Deuteronomy 4:35. Moses also names 3 cities of refuge east of the Jordan, where those who accidentally kill someone can flee. Obedience is about relationship, not just rules. God wants your heart, not empty religion. The Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb. Deuteronomy 5:2. Moses retells the 10 Commandments, originally given in Exodus 20. The commands cover 1. No other gods. 2. No idols. 3. Don't misuse God's name. 4. Keep the Sabbath. 5. Honor parents. 6. Don't murder. 7. Don't commit adultery. 8. Don't steal. 9. Don't lie. 10. Don't covet. Oh, that they had such a heart as this always, to fear me. Deuteronomy 5:29. The 10 Commandments aren't just rules, they're God's heartbeat for how his people should live in love, reverence, and justice. Deuteronomy 1-5 is a powerful beginning to Moses' final message. Chapter 1 reminds us of our failures and God's grace. Chapter 2-3 shows God's guidance and victory. Chapter 4 calls us to obey and worship only him. Chapter 5 brings us back to the covenant, to know and follow God's ways. This isn't just history. It's a message for every generation. Remember what God has done. Obey what he has spoken. Walk forward in faith.